Back up to the back. Please back up.
It's a great spot to be.
It's a great spot to be.
You're the guy behind the guy.
So I'm Alan Cohen, the group's business and communications coach, and welcome to all of the guests and visitors today. So yesterday I was feeling pretty out of sorts, kind of detached. And that makes perfect sense because about 10 days ago I lost my father. And I was just kind of numb. And I got a phone call or a WhatsApp from Shirley, and Shirley asked me if I would come and speak today. And I was like, am I ready? Do I want to do it? I don't know. But when she told me that the topic was relationships first, I knew that my father would be smiling down at me, and it brought a smile to my face, because anyone who knew my father knew that relationships came first, above and beyond anything else. And you could just ask the 150 people who came to his funeral. This is a 94, almost 95-year-old man who, because of the relationships that he had built over the course of all those decades, had cultivated such deep relationships that the funeral was packed. Interesting story about my dad at his funeral. Several of these rather elderly women came up to me individually, and they said to me, wow, so your dad always made me feel like the most important person in the room. And I would talk to him every day. And I was like, who are you? I have no idea who you are. Anyway, so my dad was by no means financially successful. But if you would ask him, he would say that he was one of the most successful people in the world because of the quality of the relationships that he had built over the course of his lifetime. And that's something that he has imparted to me. I think that my father, had he been vital and working, would have been really happy to be a member of BNI, although he definitely would not have been happy with waking up this early in the morning. So the principles that I have cultivated and I want to talk to you about basically fall into an acronym of LIVE relationships, L-I-V-E. And so these are the things I want to talk to you about today. So to build relationships, to nurture relationships, it's first about listening and learning. That means that every time you sit down with somebody, you come from a space of curiosity. You want to learn what are the compelling needs and desires of the person that you're speaking to, for other members when you have your one-to-ones. Are you really following that gains profile? Are you listening to what that person's personal and professional goals are, their accomplishments, their interests, their networks, their skills? How do you know that person deeply enough so that you can make valuable deposits into that relationship account? Because BNI, and Ilya's going to talk about this, it's not just about making money. It's also about the growth that we experience from really getting to know someone and deepening connection. The next thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of building relationship is about being of integrity. And this is something that I learned from my father. That's about saying what you do and doing what you say. So when somebody gives you a referral, you follow up on that referral and you let that person know how it went. How you show up in one space is how you show up in all spaces. What you see is what you get. Being of integrity is so important in building relationships. That's how we develop into a person that people know, like, and trust. V is for value, and value you can look at it a lot of different ways. It's about appreciating other people's values, which are often different from your own, and respecting those values. We have a lot of different people in our chapter from different walks of life, different backgrounds, but we can respect people for their values even if we don't necessarily agree with their politics or or just kind of what they're about. We can disagree without being disagreeable. It's also about creating value in the relationship. How do we show up for that other person, and how do we make those meaningful deposits? And finally, it's about enjoying each other. It's about finding venues and situations to engage with people outside of the normal work hours. And our chapter is great about social events, and we like to have a lot of fun. So that's live relationships, build relationships. And finally, I was thinking about this as a quote to end this little talk. So I don't know how many of you have seen It's a Wonderful Life, the Frank Capra classic, but at the end of the movie, George Bailey, who was rescued from committing suicide, actually, the angel Clarence leaves him a note, and it says, "Any man who has friends is never a failure." And I think we can all look around this room and feel like pretty great successes because we have the relationships of each other. So thank you.